in to snipe them, and then swooping in with his Zerglings. And one of the times it did pay off when Naniwa blinked down from the high ground into the Broodlords and lost everything. So, guys, we're getting ourselves into this next game. The countdown has begun. Who's going to take it? Will it be Ostojiy getting his redemption here in a game that he almost had sealed the deal on prior, or is Naniwa going to simply clean up with a 2-0? We'll find out when we jump into this game on Metalopolis.
Well, here it is, guys. Metalopolis loading up for you on your screens. Whew. Of course, Ostojiy, man, Zergs, whenever they lose a match, they go straight to Metalopolis, their map of choice in the very far top right corner. Going to be Ostojiy on Team Gosu. Oh man, I'm so excited from game number 1. I'm hoping game 2 is just as good. And in the top left corner, it's going to be our red Protoss player, Naniwa. Someone who has of late, actually he's been impressive overall, but what's impressed me the most lately is his attitude. He's gotten so much better in game and outside of game. So Naniwa, where he's at right now in the World of StarCraft, in my opinion, I think he fully deserves.
Robin, I have to agree with you. I mean, that game, he read his opponent extremely well, made a couple of small blunders because Ostojiy baited him into it, and ultimately was able to recover from them in a position that honestly seemed to be completely dire. I mean, he was down about, 150, 140 supply to a maxed out Zerg who was pulling tons of resources and had 2 more mining bases than he. And ultimately secure his way back to victory. So, guys, if you're rooting for Naniwa, know that he can be really behind and still manage to pull out the W. Ostojiy right now scouting things out with this Overlord, just hovering right at the very edge of this Nexus. And in the last game we saw Naniwa not go for the Forge Fast Expand, really mixing it up a little bit there. This game is going to be sticking to what we know best.
Yeah, I love it, man. Naniwa was known as Forge Fast Expand or die trying, period. That's all I'm doing. And really just been changing up this whole entire MLG. And it's impressive. It's good. It shows maturity as a player. It shows that you're willing to really just try out different play styles and be successful with them. He's really been practicing at home, and that's awesome to see. Ostojiy, looking over to him, it looks like he went for the 15 pool, which is we've become fans of as Zerg players. It's very, very nice, very, very safe, and still economy friendly. So Pro will come down here, go and do the patrol back and forth. Might see Naniwa down on the pylon. Everything looking pretty darn standard.
Now Ostojiy is opening up with gas, so he's going to get himself some pretty quick speed. This is something that Violet actually likes to do on maps that have openings towards the natural, if things are pretty exposed. You can come in with some pretty early Zerglings against a Forge Fast Expand and do a good amount of damage. So we'll see if Ostojiy decides to go with anything of that nature. Right now, managing to get that second hatchery, maybe a little bit thrown off from the first game. You know, he wasn't too sure if his opponent was going to go for the Forge Fast Expand or not. And notice, I don't know how I feel about the fact that he brought the Overlord around to the right. Typically, you just want to simply beeline it over the Nexus and find out immediately what your opponent's doing.
Yeah, one of the wonders, and the good thing about playing Protoss as Zerg, is you can basically have that Overlord sitting there forever until you see a Cybernetics core queued up.
Yeah.
So just beelining it, you might as well. I think he was trying to hide it a little bit, so Naniwa would get a bad scout.
Yeah.
But Naniwa was still able to find the correct scout on the first try. But I can see what Ostojiy was trying to do there. But nonetheless, he still sees everything here. Sees the gateway timing. We'll see when the Cybernetics core does go down as well. So we'll see if he goes for that very, very heavy Zergling pressure you mentioned of.
It's actually really interesting that Nani was opting to Forge Fast Expand on this map, whereas prior on Antigua Shipyard he did not. Antigua Shipyard, a map where it's not too hard to Forge Fast Expand. Metalopolis provides a lot of vulnerabilities. For example, you know, using cannons to secure this expansion early on. If you try to go for any heavy tech-based plays, or even if you say your opponent throws down a Roach Warren around 35 supply, they can simply pressure you, take out these geysers without you having much to say about it whatsoever. Also, this Forge in a very vulnerable position as well. So Naniwa going for the Forge Fast Expand here, alternatively onto Metalopolis. I love the confusion, if you will, that he's trying to instill right now in Ostojiy.
Well, looking over into Ostojiy as well, just joining up at the moment, has speed about to finish up pretty soon, and he will be taking out Scouting Probe. Queen, where are you going? There she goes, is retreating on back, and it looks like he's not going for that Zergling pressure that we would hope for. But looking back into the main, is he still saturating gas at the moment? If we could Ostojiy really quick in his main. There we go. Kept one drone on there as well. So he slowly get to a point where he can get some tech out if he would like, but it allows him to drone up pretty heavily as well. 9 more drones coming out pretty soon. Now I'm curious to see if we have a fast third from him. It's pretty easy to grab against Protoss when they're going for a fast expand. Just keep tabs on whether or not they're going for any aggressive push. Stargate actually being thrown out from Naniwa, which is really rare. We don't see that much from Naniwa.
Yeah, that was an interesting decision out of Ostojiy. So he was going to go for the fast third, Robin.
Yeah.
Decided to turn around and drop down a third gas instead.
Getting a layer.
So going to go for some two-base play here. Most popular two-base play we see against Protosses is two-base Infestor. It's not really utilized much anymore. It was really popular for a while, however. Void Ray currently on the way, being chrono boosted out here for Naniwa. We'll be taking a look to see if he follows this up with some gateways. Typically what you see behind this is either 3-gate Robo or 3-gate Twilight Council.
Curious to see what Ostoji's going for. He's grabbing a 4th gas now with no evolution chambers. That yells Mutas to me. Infestation Pit is, of course, good as well. He's going to have to be very careful on defending against the Stargate / Phoenix Blade on his way. I only see 2 Queens on the field currently at the moment, and now he's expanding behind it after grabbing 4 gas, which kind of makes me really yell Mutas as well.
Yeah,
really
Muta would be a great play for Ostojiy because Naniwa, for example, in Korea, the most common opening to what Naniwa is doing right now, or the common reply, excuse me, is to simply drop a Spire. You see your opponents going Stargate, you throw down Mutas, and Phoenix in mass are not. You really need that new Phoenix upgrade if you want to battle against Mutalisk. Unfortunately for Ostojiy, he is opting for the Infestation Pit, which is not necessarily a bad play, but my goodness, does a Spire counter early Stargate play. But this is going to work out just fine for him. It is really popular to use these Infestors on 2 bases. But, you pointed out the lack of upgrades, and now they have been started, but they've gotten started pretty late here, Robin.
Yeah, it's doing the Evolution Chamber after I said that, of course, gotta throw me off, because starting that +1 melee attack is really cool. With Infestors coming out, you can really afford to have 2 Evolution Chambers on the field if you would like it. They're really nice to have, so expect to see one pretty soon, especially when that third starts to finish up. But now we're going to have some aggression here from Naniwa. Void Ray heading across the middle of the map here. Where are the Phoenixes? Are they grouped up with the Void Ray?
Yeah, they actually ran a little bit ahead. They're lifting their very first Queen right now up into the air, and the Void Ray arriving a little bit late here. He needs to take out that Queen. There we go. Finally does finish taking that out. 4th Phoenix arriving. 4 Phoenix, of course. That critical number that allows you to simply lift the Queen and take it out. Void Ray now fully charged. Doesn't want to lose that charge on the Void Ray. Absolutely. Naniwa wants to keep that Void Ray engaged with various units and structures here, Robin.
Yeah, nice pick there, getting that 3rd Queen as well. And now we have 2 more Queens on their way, but they're not here, so drones are actually kind of free for thinking, especially here in the natural. We don't have a scorecard done. Queen does finally pick up, and this might actually buy enough time for that scorecard to finish if Naniwa does not engage it. But he's content. He just wants to kill Queens. He wants to cut into production. He wants to cut into creep spread.
Yeah.
This is so hurtful. It's annoying for Ostojiy right now.
Initially from Naniwa, we saw the transition back at home, guys, to the 3 gates. He actually built the Twilight Council up here. Naniwa, I thought I could see your building prediction. But you know what? He's done enough damage at this point that he's simply he's throwing down the robotics facility. He's completely content, Robin. He knows he's done a ton of damage, and he can continue to tech freely behind this. He feels no threat whatsoever to some serious pressure. Ironically enough, that's what we're seeing Ostojiy go for here.
The Void Ray is doing so much damage. He's killed a number of drones. Now, finally, Infestors do pop out. 3 have been killed off by his lone Void Ray himself, though. And finally, he will clean that up. But, man, so much damage is done. Do have the Phoenixes finally being cleaned up, too, though. And it's really important to actually retain those Phoenixes. They become very strong in your mid-game, late-counting composition. If you look over at Naniwa, right now in his natural, he really doesn't have much. He has a number of Zealots and a couple of Sentries. But that's it. He put so much gas into his tech that it hurt him to lose all those units.
Yeah, it's the equivalent of, ending up losing sentries, even though they did a lot. They were very effective. They're just as expensive. You don't want to lose those units. The Void Ray and all those Phoenix could have simply retreated, hid in a corner, recovered their shields, and engaged once again.
Well, +1 timing is done for these Zerglings. They do have the +1 attack ready to go. Looks like an upgrade is on the way here for Naniwa, but it won't be here in time. He could Chrono boost it up and should be good to go. Ostojiy looking like he doesn't want to go ahead and go for this battle. He's got 2 more Infestors out, still droning up at home. Carapace level 1 on the way, and grabbing his 5th and 6th gas as well. So he's very content with where he's at. He took a lot of damage, but he got a decent trade in killing off all those units for Naniwa. Those Stargate plays.
Absolutely. So. Naniwa was, Ostojiy had a time that he could push because all those units had been made beforehand, but the reality is that he can't reinforce these Zerglings whatsoever. All of his Queens were picked off. They're only now just getting reestablished. You can see the first round of Larva Injects getting ready to completing right now. Phoenix hovering over the army right now, just tempting something. Fungal Growth's going to be thrown down on the Phoenix. Queen's trying to take it out, and a second fungal actually has to be blown in order to kill that.
Interesting use there for Naniwa. He's like, you know what, I'm done with Stargate play anyways. I'll use these as an observer. I'm going to force to use a fungal anyways. Looks like he's going to go ahead and go straight to Colossi tech. One Colossus on the way. Thermal Lance has been queued up. 4 Zealots looking like they want to go for a little bit of a hit by, but unfortunately that will not be happening, and Thermal will get this around. Notice the Spire has been thrown down from Ostojiy. I actually like this play. Falling up and maybe into possible meta play. Actually just getting Hive is on the way as well. So looks like he wants to go for early Broodlords here. Even like staying away from all of his ground upgrades just to get out this Hive a little bit faster.
Yeah, I mean, this would be... The Hive is currently... I'm questioning a little, you know, throwing down the Hive so much later than the Spire. They have the exact same build time if you want to go for Broodlords. But looking at this, we've got 70 seconds left, so that'd be around 15.5-minute Broodlords. 16-minute Broodlords. There'd be some very, very fast Broodlords out of Naniwa. Or, excuse me, out of Ostojiy. Naniwa would need to have something here in order to counter it, because right now he's currently investing into these Colossus.
Ostojiy seems to be very vulnerable at the moment. He's throwing out 8 spine cards and only has Lings, but with Colossi on the field, those Lings become so much weaker. He can get some nice fungals off, that'd be great, and luckily the spine cards do finish up. Naniwa is now moving forward here. A fungal does lay on the Stalkers, and right now Ostojiy, he just wants to delay this. He wants to keep Naniwa back, and by landing fungals, Naniwa might think twice about moving forward, but Naniwa's still going on, moving his way towards that natural currently, gonna go straight to spine cards. Fungal does go down, spine cards gonna get some free pickings.
Yeah, a couple of Stalkers gonna be taken out here. Now the spine crawlers targeting on that Colossi. One of the only 2 Colossi for Naniwa does fall.
Fungals do land. Colossus does fall. The second one possibly may go down as well, but the Colossus does stand tall here, and the Lings are all killed up. But there are 30 on the way here, and Naniwa might want to think about getting away from here. The number of Zealots, and of course, a Colossi and a few amount of Stalkers, but I think actually Ostojiy could take this army out if he really wanted to, but Naniwa staying put here, making sure that his third is going up at home and is now finished up and ready to go, grabbing his 6 gas at the same time. Very interesting play from both players here.
The economy for both of our players is relatively on par with each other. 1,800, 1,600. We do see Naniwa bringing in a few more minerals, but Ostojiy bringing in more gas. Coming with some Lings right now into the natural expansion. There's 2 cannons in place and a nice Zealot blocking off, however, and those Lings are not going to be able to get by. In the third, we do see not as much defenses in place for Naniwa, sustaining a little bit of damage here. In addition, we've got, well, the Zealots are going to manage to take that out. Will he get any additional probes? Yes, gets 1 more probe, and maybe even a second. No, in fact, turns around. But also Lings patrolling over here to the potential 4th of Naniwa, trying to prevent that. We do see Naniwa moving around on the map. Is he? What do you think he wants to do here? I mean, Broodlords are now hitting the field in just a couple seconds.
Yeah, he needs to be moving forward. He's been a little indecisive with his army. He's kind of been floating around this area for the last few minutes or so. Let's just upgrade that currently. Naniwa's actually has some Zealots do move down in the 4th. That's actually a nice distraction. On the Link should be running down there to deal with that, and that allows him to kind of move freely into the middle of the map here. Yep, and maybe deal with a couple of infestors. They do land a fungal there, but they do have a thermal land, so of course, in order to get in to land those fungal there, they take some damage from the Colossus. And actually, these Zealots are doing a lot of damage. They killed a number of drones, and it looks like Link may be able to clean these up, but man, did he take a cost there by losing a few drones.
Yeah, Naniwa pulling really ahead in supply right now. 175 to just 122. Those Lings dealt with so cost inefficiently. Now this hatchery is threatening to go down. If it does, we're going to have a 3-base Zerg versus a 3-base toss at the 18-minute mark. Not good for Ostojiy. If this, the hatchery is going to go down. He needs to intercept these units on their way home.
Oh, and all the spine claws move to the 3rd. He really wants to heavily defend this 3rd. If Naniwa can win with a win to this, he could actually go straight to the natural and circumvent all of these defenses. But he might actually have enough to go ahead and break on through. He's got a decent amount of units home at the 3rd, so he's pretty well defended against any type of counterattacks that might be coming, taking a huge supply lead. 189 to 135. A total of 64 and 59 workers have been killed this game. Rulers are here stationed right here for defense, but there are no more infestors, it looks like, to land a funnel.
Naniwa doing some kiting right now, trapping so many Zerglings.
Nice.
And this is really, really nice because, you know, he has a lot of his army at home to deal with the potential of counterattacks. And, I mean, it's a great decision, but the reality is that his army, although a little bit larger than his Zerg opponents, if you combine these spine crawlers with it, Naniwa can't engage at that 3rd without bringing these units from home.
Well, Broodlord is kind of overextended here, trying to bait these units into the fungals. As 4 infestors did pop out, and he lands a couple of nice fungals. Lings do get in the fray as well. Corruptor's now in trouble, but all the Broodlords have been killed off. Can they break on through? 1 Colossus will fall. The Corruptors, oh, yeah, the Corruptors will finally take it out. Stalkers and Sentries left. Naniwa gives chase here, but remember the Spine Crawler wall is here in terms of defense, and he's going to be forced to retreat. isn't going to wait for any more Colossi to come out. He's throwing down a fleet beacon, so it looks like he wants to get a mothership out. Trying to get an expansion down, it looks like, as one link will delay that a tad bit. He's floating a lot of resources right now.
Yeah, you know, Naniwa, I mean, he's using a nice, very large warp in right now, also throwing down a fleet beacon in order to tech to a mothership.
Is that a second fleet beacon? He had one.
He's in a beautiful position. Did he?
Yeah, he's got one in his main.
He does have a fleet beacon.
Yeah, I must have forgot about it. Links
that macro fleet beacon, Robin.
That macro fleet beacon, so good. You can build 2 motherships if you would like. Looks like he's going to go ahead and get that 4th going down in the bottom left corner. Observers floating back and forth, looking for any type of units that might be actually burrowed or anything, moving across the map. Nice smart play there from Naniwa, putting his observer with that 4th. Rebuilding his army. 164 to 101 supply, and every time I look at Ostojiy supply, I'm always surprised at how low it is.
Robin, it's been a tough battle for him, not able to get that economy going, honestly, as much as you want to see Zerg players do. And consequently, Naniwa with some relentless aggression. You know, Naniwa has pushed from pretty much every angle. We've seen him hit here. He struck through the side left here, as well as applied pressure down from the left-hand lane entirely. And overall, I mean, he's kept Ostojiy on his back foot. Ostojiy never getting economically established, still down in Harvesters.
Was there some kind of drop in the main? His actual hatchery is killed off completely in the main. We missed something pretty big there. But nonetheless, it looks like Naniwa did something to really hurt Ostojiy. Oh, the warp prism! That is what happened. Look at some units warped in and take out that main. And it must have been a while ago, too, because all the creeps gone. We suck at life. It's okay,
that's kind of awesome.
We're going to have a 3rd Colossus joining in as well. Mothership is in the fray. Really been just watching Naniwa's army this one time, but missed that warp prism. But he did do some kind of early aggressiveness there. We might, if this game actually finishes, we might go through the replay and watch that really quick.
Yeah.
But Broodlords are now on the map here. Sparring Car is trying to get that 4th. He wants to defend it. It's really important for him to grab that. Well, I guess it would be his 3rd base now. Ling's now on the field, going to go ahead and move to the top right corner, looking for a counterattack, but there are Colossi here that can intercept it, but Naniwa misses it barely.
All right, guys, Mothership now on the field. Naniwa coming out backwards towards defend his main, but honestly, not too much these Lings are going to be able to achieve. The photon cannons in position. At the exact same time, a couple of Lings running into the second here. We have Broodlords moving down across the bottom left-hand corner of the map. They're going to be trying to do what they can against this 4th. All the Lings actually managed to clean up all the Stalkers. The army of Naniwa now arriving. And Broodlords, at the exact same time, we were pointing out how they came up against the left, were coming up against the left-hand side. Managed to scout the pylon, but consequently, Naniwa knows their position.
Well, 6 High Templars now warping in at the same time as well to turn into some Archons, get some Archons in composition, and suddenly Naniwa gets a little more beef here and has more area effect damage for whenever he does get a Vortex down. Starting to really group up his whole entire army here between the 3rd and the 4th. A 4th has gone up for Ostojiy. Down in the bottom left corner, he's trying his best here. Can you put the units tab? I want to get an idea of how many drones he has. He has 63 to 53, so a little bit behind Naniwa. Definitely not where you want to be at 25 minutes into the game, but he has definitely been fighting, man. He has been contending to the best of his ability here.
Naniwa moving out across the left-hand side of the board right now. 197 supply to 150 for Ostojiy here. Sniping out this Corruptor that was just a little too far astray. Dark Templar Shrine going down right now for Naniwa. Goodness knows where it is at.
Warp Prism once again warping in units, and go ahead and see if there's another hatchery for them to snipe. No, there is not, but there is a spawning pool. That would be quite juicy, nice and juicy for him. So moving forward here, Ling's going to run on in. Fumble Growth is slammed on top of the Archons. The Archons go down pretty fast there. Stalkers blink on top of the Broodlords. Another large fungal goes down. Vortex has been started up as well, and it looks like the remaining Stalkers can take out whatever units are left on the field here. 179 to 115 supply. Ostojiy, GG's.
GG.
Really quick, do you want to load that replay up?
We absolutely need to see exactly what happened there.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and fast forward it really quick here, and yep, go ahead and load that bad boy up. We'll load it up, guys. Sorry about that. Naniwa has taken the series 2-0. We're going to go ahead and look at a replay really quick. We'll fast forward super darn fast. That had to have been around like the 17, 16 minute mark, but let's go ahead and
while we get you lined up, guys, Robin, you know, that game, Naniwa, remember the opening, you know, he went for the Forge Fast Expand Wares on Antigua Shipyard. We didn't see that happen.
Yeah.
Metalopolis, a map that has proven really difficult for most Protoss players. And Naniwa, you know, he managed to, we saw the two-base play initially out of Ostojiy. And that's not what most Zergs go for against the Forge Fast Expand. A lot of Zergs nowadays grab that quick third. Do you think Game 1 threw off Ostojiy's response, the inherent response that you want to have against Forge Fast Expand, or do you think those 2-based Infestor plays is pretty common out of our Zerg player?
It might be. He may have just been wanting to go for that tech round. I mean, he grabbed that 4th gas after he threw down his evolution chamber.
Yeah.
And it really seemed that he was being a little indecisive. He had the 3 gases. He looked like he wanted to go for that 3rd down the bottom right a little bit early on. And then it just seemed that he was like, I don't know what to do right here. I don't know what play I want to go with. He seemed so confused. He had so many builds available to him. He just didn't know which one to choose, it seemed, at that moment. So
yeah.
I feel like that was just more of a time of taking a breath and trying to figure out what he wanted to do, but you can't do that in StarCraft, unfortunately.
Yep. No, that's absolutely true.
Well, it looks like we're down the 3rd, 4th base. We're around the 14-minute mark. I want to see when this War Prism comes out. I'm checking into that production tab.
Yeah.
But, wow, looks like...
Well, we'll jump into it as soon as we do find it, but something I wanted to point out was that we actually saw Naniwa with a substantial lead pretty early on with that Stargate play that he had initially, with the Void Rays and the Phoenix. They did get taken out, but he got himself up to 57 workers to just 48 to his opponent. If you have a Zerg on 2 base who has 48 workers and you have 57 as a Protoss player, you're in a fantastic position already.
A beautiful position. Let's oh, there goes the Warp Prism being queued up. So he got the Warp Prism around the 18-minute mark. Let's go ahead and pull this up for you guys so you can see
so
it.
This looks like actually something that was just completely unrecognized by our Zerg player as well, so that makes us not feel too bad at least. The push is coming in on the left-hand side of the map. Sure you guys remember this. Whoop, let's slow this down. Sure you guys remember this part of the game as well. Stalkers engaging here, lots of Zealots, the Broodlords coming forward. While all of this is happening, Zealots simply come in here to the Hive. You can see them sniping away. They were simply just made with this Warp-in Prism here. And, the engagement here is really, really intense. We saw the force fields preventing the Lings from being able to retreat back up. In a second here, Ostojiy is going to come forward with the Broodlords and try to engage against these units. But now he notices he's bringing Spine Crawlers home because he actually lost all of his Zerglings, Robin. Because of those force fields. The quickest units that would have been able to get here to defend were his Broodlords. And he felt that his Spine Crawlers could actually make it faster. So brought the Spine Crawlers up. Unfortunately, the Hive had already been taken out. And it was really just a simple 6 Zealots that were beautifully timed. After this, we see the Stalkers blink in onto the Broodlords and begin target firing each of them down. And ultimately, between losing the Hive, between losing this army, I think this was the moment where we saw Ostojiy definitely lose this game.
Well, very, very well played there. Had we seen that in game, I think we would have been even more excited by Naniwa's play there. We really enjoyed his force field, but man, very, very, very important focus there around that 3rd, 4th base, and unfortunately, he just was not able to pay attention to his main, which was sniped so darn fast. So, well done there by Naniwa. So with that, guys, Naniwa takes out Ostojiy 2-0 in pool play, so he gets one more victory at